Olá pessoal, eu sou o Edson Boaventura Júnior, sejam bem-vindos ao canal Enigmas e Mistérios e hoje, em parceria com o portal Burn, estamos migrando mais um vídeo para essa playlist. Vamos ao vídeo.
Fala galera, bom, são 2 horas da manhã e vocês devem estar percebendo que eu tô com uma cara de sono, mas eu tinha que gravar esse vídeo com vocês. Pra quem não sabe, esse final de semana foi o final de semana Giorgio no Brasil. O que significa isso? A grande maioria de vocês já deve ter ouvido falar da série Alienígenas no Passado, ou a série em inglês Ancient Aliens. Pois bem, o produtor e astro da série, Giorgio Tsoukalos, estava esse final de semana aqui no Brasil, fazendo o lançamento da nova temporada da série e também do livro Alienígenas no Passado, o livro oficial da série. E o que aconteceu nesse evento? Eu fui convidado para representar a Rede Brasileira de Pesquisas Ufológicas, participando lá na área de convidados do evento. Junto nesse evento estavam Christian Anderson no Mistérios Arquivados e encontrei também o nosso amigo René Fraga do Arquivo UFO, além do Nerd Rabugento, que a gente encontrou lá na área de imprensa. O que dizer? Giorgio Tsoukalos é um cara fenomenal, simples, educado, atendeu todo mundo e quando você conhece ele, ouve a palestra dele, você fica sabendo que ele realmente é muito diferente dos memes que a gente vê por aí. Ele é um cara muito centrado e focado na teoria do antigo alienígena. Ele nem se considera efetivamente um ufólogo. E uma coisa muito legal, vocês sabem que a gente tem uma postura bem científica aqui, e ele também tem. E ele é um cara que é tão aberto e tão assim, pronto para trabalhar com a parte científica que ele não se importa que outras pessoas têm opinião diferente da dele. Ele discute as opiniões e os elementos que tem. Ele não é aquele cara que fala que tudo é extraterrestre, como dizem por aí. Realmente é bem diferente. O evento estava lotado, muita gente. A gente teve a oportunidade de ver em primeira mão o primeiro episódio da série. Tá muito legal, inclusive uma das partes do episódio passa no sítio arqueológico de Pachacamac, lá no Peru, que eu tive a oportunidade de conhecer. E vale a pena vocês estarem vendo. Essa série vai estrear agora no dia 30 de agosto de 2017 e realmente está bem legal. Mas agora vamos à parte mais interessante aí do vídeo. Nós fomos convidados pelo History Channel para fazer uma entrevista exclusiva com o Giorgio Tsoukalos e foi muito legal. A entrevista está em inglês, eu não sei se vocês vão estar vendo o vídeo já com a legenda do YouTube ou com uma legenda colocada por nós. Se você quiser ajudar a colocar a legenda, aqui embaixo na descrição do vídeo tem um link, você pode colaborar com a legenda. E porque nós não tivemos tempo de fazer isso ainda. Espero que você curta a entrevista, você vai conhecer um pouquinho mais o ponto de vista do Giorgio. E acho que você vai sair com a opinião um pouco diferente do que você tem dos memes da internet com ele. Realmente assim, ele entende os memes, ele brinca com os memes, mas ele não é aquele cara dos memes. Fica aí com a entrevista e depois deixa aqui embaixo dos vídeos o seu comentário, curte a nossa página e compartilha esse vídeo por aí. Vamos mostrar pro pessoal aí que o Giorgio não é só aliens, como ele sempre diz. Um abraço pra vocês, até mais pessoal.
First of all, it's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you.
I'm a UFO researcher here in Brazil.
Great.
Yeah, I'm the founder of the Brazilian UFO Research Network, and so being with you here is really good because.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for being here.
All right.
Okay, let's go to the questions. Which one was the most important case you believe you investigated and you've gone through and you think is the most significant one?
So I would have to refer to an archaeological site in the highlands of the Andes on the border between Peru and Bolivia,
Okay.
next to Lake Titicaca. There's an archaeological site called Tiwanaku, and 300 meters from Tiwanaku, there's a smaller archaeological place called Puma Punku.
Where there the portals and everything.
Yes, and the H blocks and all those different things. And there we are presented with two problems. One is you have two types of stones that have been used there, red sandstone and gray andesite. In both cases we are presented with two problems because the red sandstone blocks are so big. Some of them are in excess of 75 metric tons.
Wow.
75. And you know, they're big as railway cars, huge blocks, and we know where they got them from the quarry, which is about 75 to 80 miles away, so which is about 100 kilometers.
Transport?
How did they transport it? And the archaeologists say, well, that's an easy question to answer because they used wooden rollers and they were just pulling the blocks.
The classical answer.
The classical answer. And in this particular case, the classical answer does not solve the mystery because Pumapunku, or the entire Tiwanaku area, is situated at an altitude of almost 13,000 feet, and which is about 3,500 meters, which means you are above the natural tree line.
Okay.
So no trees ever grew in that area. Still today, there are no trees there. So where did they cut down the trees with which to use the wooden rollers? And another question is, have you ever imagined what would happen if you put a 75-ton block on wooden rollers?
They would smash.
They would crush, they would smash to pieces like dust. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is with the gray andesite blocks, which have been worked to such a magnificent precision that you have to wonder how it was done, because gray andesite, as you probably know, is igneous rock.
Okay.
It is incredibly, incredibly hard. And so the tools that were found in the area by the archaeologists were copper tools, iron tools, and chicken bones. So
How could they cut this?
it's impossible, because it's so hard. You can only use a material that's the same hardness or harder. And this is not the case. We haven't found any tools like this. And maybe you're familiar with one of the gray blocks at Pumapunku that has a perfect groove down the side.
Yeah.
And if you apply your thumb and you go down and apply just a little bit of pressure, the corners are so sharp that you can potentially cut yourself.
Oh.
I mean, I don't recommend it.
This is new for me.
Okay, and every 2 or 3 centimeters there is a hole that has been drilled in, and we tested this. Every hole is equidistant inside. So how did they drill it? And at Pumapunku, yes, absolutely. And at Pumapunku, there are no hieroglyphs, there is no writing, there are no drawings or carvings of anything ritualistic. It all looks very technical in origin.
That's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice to know. Okay. And as a UFO researcher, sometimes, especially in TV shows, they ask us, if the aliens are here, why now that we have smartphones and cameras everywhere, we can't take photos like we did before? What is your opinion about that?
Well, I disagree with that, because of course, if you go on YouTube or on Google, there are some really compelling pieces of evidence. Whether you agree, and I know you agree,
yeah.
but some people who say, well, this is not evidence, well, that's your opinion, not mine. Because if you have lights in the night sky where you first have one light and then those lights swarm into 5 or 6 lights and then they converge again, well, what is that? Is it our technology? Who knows? But I would say that it could be extraterrestrial in origin. But the evidence exists. And so if somebody disagrees that this is not strong evidence, that's their opinion.
I agree with you, and I believe there's another thing. Today everybody's looking down, not looking up.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. No, we need to look more up into the sky.
Exactly.
And we have forgotten to do that.
I believe the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody heard about the MIPS. And one of member of our group in the time of the Virginia case, he was spied. We found the documentation in the National Archives, and he was spied on the phone. And I would like to know, have you ever suffered some kind of pressure for any kind of government or agency, no, because of your research?
Never.
Never.
And also in any of the episodes of Ancient Aliens, we have never received word that you cannot talk about this or you need to change this. So we've had, an open door to explore these ideas. And, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, because it's a hard subject to deal with.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, I think that, we are in what I refer to as a paradigm shift. That I think slowly but surely we are changing the mind of the people in regards to the extraterrestrial question.
Yeah, it's true. Just a second. As a UFO research group, we have a scientific approach of the UFO phenomena. And what do you think that's it's a good? Do you agree with that? That we need to be as scientific as possible?
Of course, absolutely, because it is a research branch that can apply science to this. Because if I have a professor of plasma physics, Dr. Elcho Hasselhoff, who lives in the Netherlands, and if he tells me that some of the crop circles cannot be explained away unless you invoke the idea of extraterrestrials, I should listen to a scientist that has a degree or is teaching in plasma physics. Because there are some crop circles, clearly there's some crop circles that are modern day forgeries or they're man-made. There's no question. But then there are these other crop circles where if you look at the stalks, there are these nodes of the wheat. And some of these nodes, Dr. Hasselhoff has shown this to me, after they have been turned into a crop circle, those nodes have elongated by 300%. Now that's an impossibility for happen due to natural reasons.
Okay.
Something had to happen. Now, was it extraterrestrial? Was it interdimensional? Was it military technology? Who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. But it does not preclude me from asking the questions. Because since when is asking questions unscientific? Because what we are doing, what you are doing with your UFO research is one of the most important things that we can do in our history.
That's what I believe. And to end our conversation, since you agree with us that we need to be scientific, I would like to present you. You will be the first one to receive a full copy of the analysis of a possible fragment of the UFO that exploded in Brazil in 1957. We are examining in the University of São Paulo.
Really?
And
what were the results?
90.3% magnesium.
Okay.
Pure magnesium.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, this is strange.
This is yours.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I will take a look at this. Thank you.
And then you tell me what you think about it.
All right, done. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you once more.
Thank you.
See
All
you.
the best.